Hi guys, I hope that you are doing well, and today we're going to talk about Pluto in Aquarius. This is the kind of transit that I avoided almost until, clearly until the very last minute. And the reason why is because I doubt, personally, I doubt that people are going to actually feel it in 2023. You know, my theory is that we're going to start truly feeling the energy of Pluto in Aquarius at the end of 2024, early 2025, and onward until 2043, I think. So, you know, the reason why I think that is because Pluto will enter Aquarius, right, until June 11th of 2023, and then it will go back to Capricorn. And then it will again enter Aquarius for a little bit, and then again go back to Capricorn. And then the third final time, this is when I believe maybe we could start noticing some changes. However, there are exceptions. There are exceptions, and I am going to name the signs that are the exceptions, the dates of birth that are also, or the days of birth, I should say, that are exceptions to this, and the degrees. Okay, so if you are one of these following signs, then most likely you are feeling the energy already, and you will be feeling the energy in, you know, spring of 2023, and then in 2024, and then in 2025 and onward, obviously. So before I move on to the signs and the specific degrees and everything, I just want to talk about briefly, talk about Pluto in Aquarius and what it means to me. Pluto in Capricorn, that is very clear that power. Pluto was given to authorities, right, for a very long time, for 15 years or so. Now it seems like since Aquarius rules community, society, people, right, just normal, regular people, power could be given to the people, right? However, I am also very curious to see what happens to very powerful leaders that are at play right now, because some of them, like Putin, for example, he has Pluto in Leo. So I really wonder how that opposition to someone's Pluto is going to play out if you are one of those powerful figures in the world right now. And when I think of Pluto in Aquarius related to communities, related to people, regular people like you and me, I think that maybe this could be a rebellious energy, right? Against the government, against the restrictions, against the rules. And I am not a mundane astrologer. So this is why in this reading you're not really going to hear much about that, okay? We're going to talk about personal level, how Pluto may impact each one of you throughout its transit in Aquarius for the next 20 years. And I just want to say that Pluto is a collective energy, collective planet, right? So you may not feel it very strongly unless it makes an aspect to one of your personal planets. Why? Well, first of all, let's just say that, Pluto was in Capricorn for the last 15 years. Did your life change? Of course it did. 15 years, hello? Everybody's life changes in 15 years. Even the most passive person that I know, which is one of my relatives, even her life changed in the last 15 years. She became a mom. So nothing else pretty much changed, in her life, but she became a mom. That's a big deal. And of course, everybody's life in one way or another has changed in the last 15 years. So can I say that your life is going to change in the next 20 years and that's necessarily going to be related to Pluto? No, it's going to change anyway, and it's going to be related to many other things, not just the Pluto transit, okay? Because that's a big chunk of time. Of course, our lives change within that huge timeline. So it's just something to keep in mind, right? That maybe a lot of our issues, challenges, good things may be coming from other aspects in our life, and it doesn't have to be Pluto at play. And of course, the strongest influence is going to be for those that Pluto is eventually going to impact by either a conjunction, an opposition, a trine, a square, right? Maybe a sextile even. You will feel the changes, you will feel the difference, you will feel the shift. But not just because Pluto is in one of your houses, right? But it's because mostly of the influence to one of your personal planets. And I'm sure that most of us will feel that energy at one point or another in the next 20 years. However, I do want to mention briefly those 4 signs actually that Pluto may be impacting the strongest right now, right? Starting March 23rd of 2023 until June 11th of 2023. And I also would like to mention that 2 of these signs are already feeling its influence, and most likely maybe even all 4 are already feeling the influence. So the first one, of course, is Aquarius, right? 0 to 2 degrees Aquarius, or if you were born between 20th of January and I want to say maybe 23rd of January, okay? This transit is impacting you by a conjunction. And you are probably feeling this energy already. If you are a very early Aquarius, again, I repeat, 0 to 2 degrees, or if your birthday is between 20th and 23rd, 22nd, maybe even of January. So in this case, you are definitely feeling the energy of transformation. You know, something is dying down for you and something new is about to be born. However, I don't think it will be born. I don't think you'll be born this spring, okay? I don't think you'll be born in 2024 either. Actually, if it is born in 2024, it'll probably be towards the very end, like November, December, January, 2024 going into 2025. This is when you may start seeing the results of this. Something has transformed, right, until 2025 or end of 2024. Something has taken a new form, but as of right now, it's just starting to take that new form, okay? It's nowhere near done. So you might be really impacted by this transit, by the conjunction, whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, right? Definitely some things are happening here for you. Now, another sign, right, it is Leo. And Leo is triggered here by opposition. Again, 0 to 2 degrees Leo, sun, moon, rising, or if you were born between 22nd of July until about 24th of July, okay? This is also your time. You may be experiencing shifts. You may be experiencing different changes in your life. You may starting to feel like something is shifting and you're not quite sure which direction it's going to take and which form it's going to take. But you will know towards the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, this is going to be the final hit to your ascendant moon or sun, okay, at these degrees, and you are going to know what exactly it's all about. So again, it's a very, it's the kind of transit that we have to be really patient with. Capricorn is another sign. Capricorn is also experiencing a conjunction. 28 to 29 degrees Capricorn, or if you were born between 17th and 19th of January, okay, this is also your time. However, there is a difference between you and Aquarius because you are already experiencing this energy, you are very familiar with it already, and it seems like maybe something is actually concluding at this point. If, for example, for Leo and Aquarius, transformation is just now kind of opening up and starting, and it's showing it, they're testing the waters right now in this new lifestyle possibly. But for you, transformation could be almost done. You are basically about to kind of do the finishing touches, but it could also, of course, be that maybe you are experiencing changes in your life that maybe are new, right? But you are already going through this, and you will be possibly going through this until June of 2023, and then again in 2024, and then again in 2025, until it's really done with you, okay? And then Cancer is the last one. Cancer, you're gonna be impacted by the opposition if you are at 28 to 29 degrees, okay? It could be your sun, your moon, your rising sign. And again, you've already been feeling this opposition. This isn't anything new to you, just like for Capricorn. This is something that is definitely triggering a lot of identity crisis, possibly, or maybe emotional crisis. You are trying to find yourself right now. You're trying to find who you are, and you've almost found that identity, okay? Just a little bit longer and you will be done with it. And it could be that you may be officially on the new path, clean slate and everything, maybe towards the end of 2024, okay? But it could be even now, who knows? But this can also impact you if you were born between 20th and 22nd of July, okay? So 28 to 29 degrees or between 20th and 22nd of July. For everybody else who might be experiencing a trine, a square, a sextile, you know, this probably isn't going to be a very major theme right now. In 2023, okay, it might unfold later, closer to 2025, but I would say that these four signs that I just mentioned, they are probably experiencing the most of it, okay, at least for now. So 2025, I believe, is going to be the year where things are actually going to take form, and things are going to make a lot more sense then. You know, Aquarius rules something new, right? Newness, it rules innovation, it rules future. And I believe that Pluto being in this sign wants us to let go of the past, wants us to take our new identities into the future. It wants us to possibly be innovative, go out there, you know, think outside the box, do things that are outside the box, you know, outside of your comfort zone, try new things, right? Learn new things. It's about new energy, it's about futuristic energy versus the past, the old-fashioned, right? I think it will be greatly appreciated by Pluto if you go with the new rather than with the old. But let's move on to each sign, and we're gonna briefly talk about how this is going to impact everybody, and I am going to start with Aquarius. So guys, this is going to be your first house, especially if you are Aquarius rising, but it could also, of course, impact your sun at some point, right? I would say that for Aquarius, this is definitely, wow, the outlook on life is dramatically shifting. Before this transit, it could be that maybe you were working on the subconscious side, on your soul, on the depth of your soul. Maybe you found a belief system that is, you know, very strong to you. Maybe your belief systems were being questioned for a while, and now you've kind of, you figured it out, you know, you figured out what exactly you want to believe in, what exactly is it that brings you joy, brings you faith, brings you believe in yourself and the future. And now you are able to apply that, you're able to kind of help yourself create a new identity, really show the world what you're all about. You Aquarius, whether you are Sun in Aquarius or rising in Aquarius, or even not so much Moon in Aquarius, but for those two, for Pluto, Sun and rising, you are going to impact a lot of people. You're going to influence a lot of people in the next 20 years. Everybody is going to have it differently, right? Everybody is going to do different things to impact others. It could be, for example, that you may impact others on social media. It could be that you may impact your family somehow. You could be, for example, the first person out of your family that graduates college, for example, or gets some kind of a, you know, innovative career that like nobody has ever in your family, right, in your circle has even encountered before. It could be that you may become a leader that actually motivates others. It could also be that you may transform deeply through your relationships, through your partnerships, and you could help those people to transform their lives through a connection with you. It's like you're very energized for the next 20 years, and everybody kind of wants a piece of that, you know, and that sounded a little creepy, but what I mean is that everybody is going to want you to teach them something. Everybody's gonna see how you're doing, and they'll be like, wow, this person is, you know, so unique and so full of ideas, and they're so motivated that, you know, I want to learn how to do that. And you could become a great teacher. You could become a great influencer in the next 20 years. And yes, of course, your life is going to change. But again, when I say, you know, life is going to change, it's not necessarily just due to Pluto, it's also due to time, because 20 years is a big chunk of time. And yes, our lives, of course, are going to change. But I would say that, you know, with Aquarius being in the first house, you already have that something like in you that is so special, that is so unique from others. Your mind is very complex, but at the same time very unique, like complex in a good way. You're able to actually allow yourself to shine. You're able to now show the world what this all complexity is about, what is this whole uniqueness is about. You're able to apply it in your work, in your relationships. Like I said, it's going to be very influential to others. And on another note, you know, Pluto in the first house affects the appearance. And this could very well bring you a little bit more of a scorpionic look, whatever that means to you, right? Because I tend to see a few kinds of Scorpio rising stereotypes, you know, because no, it's not necessarily going to make you look like a Scorpio rising, but it will add a little bit of a scorpionic touch to your appearance. You know, I a lot of times see more like edgy appearance, like edgier look, or I see very like sexy look as well. Or I see very mysterious, like cannot read you at all look. So I don't know which one that's going to be for you. You know, a lot of people could start exploring their sexuality as well and be more open with that, be more confident with that. So that's a big one as well with this placement. But I wish you luck, guys. You are definitely the stars of the show, and I think you're going to do great. Pluto in your hands, I think, is going to do wonders for the world. Now, Aries. I hope you guys are doing well. So for you guys, Pluto is going in your 11th house. I just, I'm having Pluto leave my 11th house. So I have direct experience with it. What can I say? You know, before Pluto entered my 11th house, I was in college, like I was, teenager in college, my early years. And on the basic level, yes, 11th house is friendships, right? And for me, I always had friends that, would just love to take advantage of me. Like, for example, even in like middle school, people liked to sit next to me because I was artsy and I drew well, and they expected to, for me to help them at the art class if they sat next to me, because I could help them, like I could draw for them, or something like that. And then when I got older, for example, when I was in college, I was blessed to have pocket money a lot, and some of my friends didn't, and I would always buy things for them, right? And one time I overheard two of my friends talking to each other at the store. They wanted to get something, I don't even remember what it was anymore, like a drink of some kind or, something. And, one of them goes, "Oh, it's expensive, I can't afford it." And the other one goes, "Well, don't worry about it, she will buy it." Pointing at me. I overheard their conversation, and it's like, okay, so people just took my help for granted, they took my money for granted, they took me for granted. And once Pluto entered my 11th house, I still had that toxicity at some point, but I learned how to set boundaries, I learned how to say no, and I learned how to actually filter through friendships, filter through people. It's like I knew they were shitty, but I couldn't do anything about it for some reason, But now I'm so confident about my social circle, and I will not let anybody take advantage of me again. And that's what Pluto taught me, right? It transformed my social circle. So yes, the most basic level of this transit is transforming your social circle, and also you transforming through your community, through your social circle. If I belonged, and I mean, I'm, relatively young, I'm in my 30s, so I cannot give you major life examples, right? But before Pluto entered my 11th house, I belonged to just like teenage groups of these kids that like to skip school and, smoke cigarettes and stuff like that. And, now I belong to a spiritual community, I belong to a healthy, like, fitness community, I belong to an IT community, you know what I mean? I belong to really, like, meaningful communities now. And who knows, where my life would have taken me back then with friends like that, right? If not for Pluto. So that's what I'm trying to say, especially if you're young. you could really transform through your community for the better. On another note, this can also transform your goals. What you think you have in mind right now will dramatically change, especially if some of your personal placements are going to be touched by Pluto in the next 20 years. You will definitely transform your goals as well. And it could be that, you know, Pluto will want you to be as innovative as possible, as trendy as possible, as, you know, futuristic as possible with your goals. You know, maybe even it'll put you on the spot, like on social media or something, so you can start achieving your goals possibly through like an online job and so on, like your own business, right, and so on. So thank you guys so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Taurus. Hi Taurus. So you know, Pluto favored you for the last 15 years. It made a trine to your planets, and now it's entering your 10th house. And especially if you are Taurus rising, that's a very significant time. You know, 10th house is a big player in astrology. 10th house is definitely our status, and Pluto is weight, wealth, power. Use it right, please, because it's entering such an important area of your chart. Use the power that's going to be given to you for the right reasons, right, in the right outlets. Do not overextend it, okay, and do not abuse it. I don't think you would. You are a Taurus. You are very understanding, you know, and you are not necessarily a manipulative nature. But unless you got many other, you know, placements in your chart. But Pluto in the 10th house, you know, I find it to be amazing because 10th house is you're seen by the world, right? You are definitely in the spotlight, and because of that you're also going to have a lot of power to you, a lot of authority to you. Maybe it's going to be some kind of a nice promotion at work, right, that's gonna make you seen. Maybe it's going to be your own business. Maybe you are going to somehow move up, right, in life in the next 20 years, and everybody is gonna be listening to what you have to say. Everybody is going to be paying attention to what you do and what you say and what your role is and what your actions are. So be careful about your reputation, right, because it can go either way with Pluto. And also be careful not to manipulate your position, not to manipulate with your power, because you will be given that. And I find that to be, you know, really really substantial for Taurus. You know, they have that chance now in the next 20 years to prove what they're all about, you know, to become a big boss. And I think that is awesome. On the other hand, transformations in your career, you know, with Pluto, sometimes you never really know, because Pluto can just drop you out of your current job, you know, so that you seek a new path that is more significant to you. It can bring you wealth through your job. It can bring you transformation through your job. It can it has to be something new. If you've been working at the same place for 20 years, it'll either make you move up or it'll make you quit. Because it's a you know, it's a unique placement. It's an Aquarius. Aquarius is new. So I don't know, but I think that lots of transformation are going to happen through your status, your career. Maybe you're going to, for example, immigrate, right? You're going to become a citizen of a different country, not like the one where you live in now. Maybe you're going to become a parent, right? Maybe you're going to become a big boss, like I said. Really awesome things here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Gemini. Hi Gemini, I hope that you are doing well. So ninth house, Pluto, not so bad. I have Pluto in the 9th house natally, and while, you know, from the 9th house usually the planet makes a trine to your ascendant, right, if you're ascendant in Gemini, and even if you are Sun in Gemini, it makes a trine to you, so that's good, right? When it comes to your beliefs though, this can be a little bit of tricky energy, because Pluto can put you through many different situations in life where you need to choose what you believe in, where you need to find the path. When I finally kind of switched, you know, from more like a religious background to a spiritual background, kind of, I think Pluto gave me a person that abused and stalked me for a while, and that really shifted something in my head. And I decided to dive deeper into spirituality, because when you're helpless, that's when you really start searching. And that's when I started searching, and it transformed my life. And I would say that, can I say that it can give you something scary, you know, or someone scary to deal with? I don't know. You know, for you to actually step on that path of spirituality, I don't know, it can give you many different hints. It can try and get your attention in many different ways, okay? So my advice here would be to try and to explore on your own, you know, what is spirituality to you? What is religion to you? What kind of beliefs do you have? Do you have any? You know, because you should have them. Oh, you definitely should. Because I didn't. And now I do, after all of my experiences. But, you know, I also would say that Pluto in the 9th house can sometimes transform your life also through legal cases, legal situations, you know, that drag for a while maybe, and they somehow strengthen your character, you know. And yes, for me it also has happened. Like, my immigration took absolutely forever, you know, and there are many steps also to immigration, you know, because you're done with one doesn't mean you're done for good. And that also kind of transformed my character through these situations. So maybe you might immigrate in the next 20 years, and that situation, you know, that the new case, right, like a immigration case, for example, will definitely impact your life. Or maybe you may possibly decide to go to school, right, or get some sort of education. And it could be some sort of research, or maybe it could be in a medical field, or maybe it could be in a tech field, maybe astrology as well. And it's going to impact you, and it's going to influence others as well. You could be directly connected to foreign lands in the next 20 years. For example, you could meet a partner, fall in love with someone that is a foreigner, right? You could maybe start working with foreign companies that are national companies. Maybe, like I said, you could move abroad, or maybe you could start traveling a lot. Who knows? But you could be definitely experiencing transformations through those means. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Cancer. Hi Cancer, I hope that you are doing well. And we've got your 8th house, Pluto. Okay, so Pluto in the 8th house belongs, right? Pluto belongs in the 8th house, but you fall under the category, the early Cancers, okay? Early Cancer rising. I've already mentioned the degrees and the days of birth. Early Sun in Cancer. You know, you guys are experiencing an opposition. You will not be experiencing an opposition throughout the whole year of 2025, right, and onwards. But those beginning shifts of Pluto into the sign of Aquarius, yes, you're still kind of in that orb, okay? So for you guys, 8th house, 8th house talks about transformation on the psychological level, and overall, you know, transformation throughout life. And this is a very unique experience that's not given to everybody in this lifetime. You know, some people may never have a Pluto through the 8th house transit, but for you, this is a great chance to explore psychology, to explore spirituality, to really heal all of your wounds. And it's not the easiest time either, right? Because you have to dig up the hidden, the traumas that have been suppressed. I literally took a minute to think of the word. Suppressed traumas, right? You have to dig them up. You have to maybe work with a healer, with some kind of specialist, right? Maybe a therapist, to be able to dig up all the traumas and actually face them and go through them. You could really heal from certain bad habits or certain fears in the next 20 years, and you're definitely going to become a very strong person that could be a therapist to others, that could be a healer to others. This is the time to explore your psychic abilities as well. And can I say that in 20 years you are gonna, maybe heal from some? Of course, I mean, it's 20 years. Of course, it's going, for some people, that's how long it can potentially take to heal a certain wound, to heal PTSD, or to somehow start managing it. Yeah, of course, a lot can change here. But what's interesting is that, especially if you are Cancer rising, right, you will come out of this transit so enlightened, so refreshed, and so wise in a way that you can really help others. I believe that a lot of Cancer rising people, especially if they are confused what to do for a living, could end up with a job in psychology, or maybe medical, okay, or maybe something connected to finances, or even possibly tech, just because let's not forget what Aquarius rules, right? But there is a substantial, it seems like a substantial path, it's a path that holds a lot of weight. It's very significant to you. It's a very it opens a lot of doors, it's like this path, whether it's psychological or professional, that is going to enlighten you, that is going to transform you and help you somehow transform other people's lives. It's a big transit. Any kind of sexual traumas, any kind of blockages may be coming to the forefront to heal from. Okay, and for everybody it could be different experiences. And overall, just like I would say Pluto in the first house, here you might be exploring sexuality, right? You might be exploring who you are, what you like, what kind of partner you want to see next to yourself. Of course, in 20 years a lot can happen in terms of relationships, right? So I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, you're gonna end up with someone forever, or you're going to get divorced, right? Because 20 years is a big chunk of time. And a lot can happen there, but I think that the connections that you are going to have with your partners are going to be very powerful, very strong on a psychological, on energetical level. It's almost like you could really find a soulmate, during this transit, because your souls are going to be so deeply connected, and you're going to want to have that depth with a person. You're going to want for them to become raw with you and be able to tell you anything and express their emotions like nothing hidden, right? And that's the kind of relationships that you might be aiming for, and that's the kind of relationship you might get as well. But thank you so much for watching, Cancer, and I'm moving on to Leo. Hi Leo, I hope that you're doing well. So 7th house transit, well, yeah, and I mean, if you are a Leo, a rising or sun, right, Pluto at some point will make an opposition to your sun. Or to your rising, but transiting the 7th house, I would say it's definitely as powerful as the 1st house, because in this case we transform through our relationships, we transform through other people, we really we start experiencing many different situations that teach us, right, that teach us how to, oh gosh, how to possibly start respecting ourselves. Because I just gave example to Aries with Pluto in the 11th house, how friends, I used to always have really weird friendships where, I was just simply taken advantage of, whether it was for my money or for my skills or whatever else, right? People just knew that they could take advantage because I had maybe something that they wanted to use, right? And It's very similar in the 7th house, where, you know, you may notice how you are being possibly manipulated by people. You may notice how you are taken for granted. You may notice how people want to be friends with you or want to be in a relationship with you because of something that you have or something that you do. And that's when that cleansing starts. It starts because, you know, when Pluto entered my 11th house, I realized it took me time. It took me a lot of time, but I realized how I should be acting, right, to kind of filter out those friendships. And I'm still working on it, but I'm so much better, you know, I'm so much more satisfied with people that are around me. And same goes for you. You know, this could eventually bring satisfaction that you learned maybe how to value yourself a lot more, so that way the people that surround you have healthy connections to you, healthy relationships. They're there because of you, not because of what you have, not because of what you do, right? That is going to be very important. And yes, of course, you know, Pluto being there for so long, it can bring you different romantic experiences, very intense, right? Very transformative. It could be that you may meet someone that transforms your life. It could be maybe that you transform somebody's life. You know, you impact them so much that their life definitely changes. And it could be also, you know, vice versa. Like I said, you know, you could be changing each other's lives. And the main theme here will be people in your life, people, and the intensity between you and the how things unfold between you two, you know, how things impact both of you and so on. Contracts, you could sign a big deal in the next 20 years, you know, you could sign a big deal that will change your life, because Pluto rules wealth, right? Wealth, weight, power. So, of course, you could also be having some powerful influences from other people. For example, your partner may land a really good position and they're going to become, let's say, very authoritative, very powerful. But it could also be you, because 7th house ruling negotiations, right, ruling contracts. It could very well be you signing a good deal. So, overall, really nice. But yes, at first, you know, that manipulative nature of people can come to the forefront, and you may have to unfortunately deal with it for a little while until you learn how to, you know, push it away. And if you are in toxic relationships, you probably would know the answer to this one, right? Let's move on to Virgo. Hi, Virgo. I hope that you are doing well. So for you guys, Pluto is entering your 6th house. And I would say that in the 6th house, it can transform your work life, right? Your routine overall, in a way that it's never going to be the same. And I feel like for my husband, it's starting to happen already, because, you know, he might be kind of sensing the impact already, because he's about to start working fully remote, and he has never done that in his life, you know, so that is a change of routine for sure. However, on a more global level, I would say Pluto here in the 6th house will possibly transform your work life, generally your title, the kind of company you work for, what you do for a living. Pluto is wealth, Pluto is power. Yes, you can land possibly a really strong position in the next few years that will give you that wealth, that will give you that power. And wealth is different to everyone, okay? Like it's a very, you know, it's the kind of word that everybody understands differently. So it could bring you a new title in a way that is substantial, and you could become an authority. Yes, you could be the one that's the lead. You could be the one that's in charge. You could be the one that makes a choice. And it's awesome. You know, on the other hand, Pluto in the 6th house can pinpoint at all the problems in your health and be like, either you do something about it or I'll make it worse. I'll be very careful with health here. Any health concerns, please take care of them. Please do not put them on the back burner. Please prioritize your health. You never know with Pluto, you know, because Pluto is intense, and it's just like, I see you don't want to change. Well, I will make sure you change it. When it comes to health, you don't want to play with it, right? So I would say I'll definitely pinpoint on certain issues if you have them, right? And you'll go from there. But overall, I think that your life is going to transform, your life that surrounds work environment, okay? Also, for example, if you are working out, right, you could start competing. For example, you know, you could take it further. You could become a professional athlete, for example. You know, that could also be the case. But also, because it's such a long transit, you know, you could at some point retire also as a professional athlete, just saying, you know, because it's such a long timeline. But I think you will overall have fun, and I think that yes, it will also teach you how to work even harder, you know, and that is definitely, you know, that can be a challenge when you're already a hard worker, but also you somehow transform. It teaches you something. It teaches you how to manage your time well, how to optimize your time, your skills, your energy, and how to make the best out of it. And of course, the kind of jobs that are going to be coming your way most likely are going to be more innovative, more unique, more different, you know, futuristic, not something that you've done in the last 15, 20 years. You know, it's going to be something probably totally new, a completely new field that you were never familiar with before. So new career paths are very, very possible with this placement. But thank you guys so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Libra. Hi Libra, I hope that you're doing well. And your Pluto here is in the 5th house. And it's time to it's time to transform the inner child. By that I mean, you know, our inner child is gonna demand a lot in the next 20 years, and we're gonna have to set certain boundaries, okay? Because life is supposed to change with the transit of Pluto in the new area, in the new house. And it could be that maybe if your inner child is very wild and it's very loud, you could kind of tone it down a little bit. You could help it grow up, because it's all about transforming the initial state. And same goes for romantic relationships. You know, the kind of romantic relationships that you are typically used to, they might be in a way unhealthy. You know, there might be a pattern where maybe you are disrespected a lot. You know, maybe people are not quite seeing you for who you truly are. Maybe, you know, you just don't connect with people on a deep level. Well, it's going to change when Pluto enters there for the next 20 years. I think that the kind of people that are going to be coming into your life romantically, right, they are going to be more intense. They are going to be more deep, and also in some way different from what your typical, you know, romantic partner. They are going to be someone that possibly strikes your interest, and you might have deep connections from now on. You know, if everything was just surface level and you had a hard time, I don't know, keeping a relationship for more than 6 months, for example, right? Now these connections are going to be stronger, deeper, almost like true adult relationships, you know, because like in the 5th house without Pluto, it could have maybe felt slightly confusing. You know, it's like, well, you know, either maybe you wanted a lot more freedom, or maybe others, you know, didn't really want to commit. But now Pluto definitely will allow these things to transform, these things to change. You may start your own business in the next few years, and it's going to bring you substantial results, okay? Because Pluto here is about wealth, power, weight, right? It's heavy, it's substantial, it's like authority, you know, big boss. So you could become a big boss, and you could also, you know, start influencing other people. For example, you may start working on social media where you are this one person and everybody's looking at you and everybody listens to what you have to say and they respect your opinion, and their lives are influenced by you and by what you have to say. I think it's a very powerful transit for you guys. You know, I think it's going to be really good. And that inner child that I was talking about, you know, like I said, if it's too wild, it's probably going to tone down. It's going to just transform, it's going to grow. And if you, for example, have been a little too demanding, a little too infantile, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that name right, I think Pluto will also take care of that. It's going to make you kind of grow up, if that makes sense, okay? Obviously, everybody is different. Of course, Pluto can bring, you know, Pluto can bring children, obviously, in the next 20 years, and so on. I would say that maybe your creativity is going to take on a little bit of a different touch. You know, if right now it's all like unicorns and butterflies, it's gonna be a little bit more like dark and gothic and sexy, maybe. But also your creativity could receive recognition. It could receive recognition, especially if you're trying to kind of put it out there. Oh yes, it's gonna be noticed. With Pluto, it is going to be noticed, especially when one of your personal planets are triggered. But thank you guys so much for watching. Now moving on to Scorpio. Hi Scorpio, I hope that you are doing well. So for you guys, Pluto is entering 4th house for the next 20 years, and that is of course a big part of our chart, right? This is our family, this is our home, this is our soul, right? It's something that nobody can actually see, and the core of our soul, I would call it. And here a lot is gonna be transforming. It's similar to, I believe, the 1st house, you know, because the 1st house will also transform, but we transform through kind of like other people, we transform through our relationships, these connections, right? And we start having a completely different outlook on life. We experience different things, you know, challenges, problems, but also good things, rewards and success, where we really go through many different emotions to be able to transform, right? It could be that you may possibly get on a spiritual journey that's going to transform your life, or maybe, like I've mentioned just now, you know, you could go through many different experiences. This is a very common one to do, like a past life regression, you know, to see what you were all about in the past lives, and you know how it can impact you now. You know, this is like a big one with Pluto transiting the 4th house, you know, trying to understand that karma that's been like a family, like generational karma, right? Family karma and so on. And that could be the topic that you may actually dive into with lots of pleasure, you know, because considering you are a Scorpio, I think you would be interested in that kind of stuff anyway. As for more mundane level stuff, like, for example, property, right? Yes, in the next 20 years, I'm pretty sure most of you could move, okay? Or most of you could sell a property or purchase a property. Yes, you know, with that case, that is like not even, you know, it's not even Pluto, okay? It's just life, and a lot happens with property, you know, especially if you are in the States. It's so easy sometimes to just move from one state to another, you know, so it's not going to be necessarily Pluto's influence, but you could, for example, start a real estate business. That's more of a Pluto thing, you know, start real estate business, flip houses, for example. You could get influence somehow through real estate, you could somehow generate wealth through property as well. Your relationships with family, they could honestly transform, become complex, become more simple, right? Definitely the focus is going to be on the relationship with parents and the karma, the family karma. You know, sometimes when parents kind of mess up throughout life, it affects their children's lives. You know, parents are fine. They just keep living their lives. They keep doing chaotic stuff, but the ones that actually suffer from those karmic consequences are the children. This is something maybe that you could look into if this applies to you. You know, if it applies to me. I'm not Scorpio rising, but I've basically been, you know, potentially responding to karma based on what my parents have done, you know, or continue doing in life. I'm the one responsible. So maybe it could be you too, you know, and maybe you're gonna look into that. Maybe you're gonna try and heal the whole family dynamic, or maybe you're going to try and fix the relationship, right? Depending on whether or not it's complex at all. But the core is definitely changing. You're becoming a lot more mature, a lot more wise, a lot more strict and authoritative. You know, you gain some sort of weight. But by weight, I don't mean physical weight, I mean power. You are definitely an intense person. You're gonna become intense, you know, through many different experiences in life. And, you know, people might think that, well, you know, they're just a regular person, but in reality, no. You've got a lot of depth to you, and it's only gonna get deeper, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Sagittarius. Hi Sagittarius, I hope that you're doing well. Third house, Pluto is entering. And see, if you are really, really young, that can sometimes impact your relationships with peers, you know, like with schoolmates and stuff. Sometimes it is it is about learning, you know, learning how to adapt to certain environments, certain communities, and whether it's, for example, college, school, work environment, right? You may feel like you have to adapt, and you may also feel like maybe certain people are not so much aligned with you, right? It's like they are troublesome in some way. And what I would say you may transform from here is transforming from the knowledge that you gain through these situations, the wisdom that you gain through these situations where you have to get along with others somehow because you are working on the same goal together, or because you're stuck at school together. Not that you have to get along with them, but because you may face different experiences with those people. You know, it's like people that may surround you are a little bit more complex with this transit. And you may also, let's say if you were bullied in the past, you know, if you've had issues with coworkers in the past, you may actually, through this transit, you may find a way how to cope with that kind of stuff, how to control that kind of stuff, how to defend yourself, and in groups, right? I mean groups, and how to fight back. This is a good one for that. Now, when it comes to education and when it comes to overall skills, right? Oh, Pluto is gonna do beautiful things here. It's going to make you thirsty for knowledge, for more wisdom, and for more education overall. And it's going to make you so influential, so powerful because of your knowledge base. You know, you are going to be not necessarily the jack of all trades, you could be, right? But you could apply it beautifully in your profession in the next 20 years. That will allow you to level up dramatically, right? And become maybe an influence to other people. Overall, I see this for Sagittarius, especially Sagittarius rising, as the time when they could become a mentor, become a teacher, a very influential person to others. It could be through social media, it could be quite literally at a university, at school, right? Or this could be overall just a teacher in life. For example, you're retired, you are not in school and you don't care to learn anything, you don't work as a teacher, and you're like, how does this apply to me? It applies to you in a way that you may gain certain knowledge base that you are able to help others with. It's like you are going to be guiding them, you're going to be mentoring them, you're going to hold the influence that others simply don't have, and they're gonna want that. You know, they're going to want you to teach them how to do this, how to do that, how to handle these situations, and so on. You could be a very great help to the community. So that's how I think this is going to impact you, dear Sagittarius. Thank you so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Capricorn. Capricorn, oh my gosh, almost done. Almost done, just a couple more years. I know that doesn't sound right, but you know, you're at the end of it, of your own transformation, whether you're Capricorn rising or sun. Yes, the last 15 years were intense, but these next 20 years are gonna be different. You have obtained a new personality almost. You grew. You've gone through many different experiences, tough experiences, transformative experiences, manipulative experiences. Crazy people were in your life, hurtful people were in your life. You know, you maybe have done some stuff as well. But now, when Pluto is entering your second house, it's time to apply your new personality that has transformed over the years to do something bigger, to do something better in this life. And it could be, for example, professional path, right? That could dramatically change because you're going to apply your new skills. You're going to apply your new personality, your wisdom, your knowledge, everything that you have gathered over the last 15 years to be able to apply it, to be able to make it work, to be able to really do something good with it. You know, you could also honestly get wealthy in the next 20 years. Maybe you could marry into a wealthy family. Maybe you could, like I said, you know, start making money, very good money, because of your new identity. And you're not quite done with it yet, you know, 2 more years. And then you'll definitely be like, yes, I'm definitely a new person, 100%. And, you know, second house ruling finances and Pluto being the planet of substantial results, you know, transformation, heavy weight, but in a good way, right? Influence, power. You could do a lot of good things with your professional directions that could bring you really good resources, really good results. You could become a lot more self-confident in the next 20 years. You could possibly also, yes, question your values. You know, for example, especially if you are presented with more resources than usual, you'd be like, well, you know, what do I do with this now? Do I actually value materialistic stuff, right? Or do I value myself more? Do I value my beliefs more? These questions could be coming up as well in the next 20 years, and you could really sometimes play that game of like a kind of like a tag of war, you know, trying to really choose between materialistic and substantial, right? Or being true to yourself and valuing yourself, your core, your belief system, I don't know, your whatever it is, right? I would say that it's definitely going to be quite a journey, but an easier one than the one before. You've gone through the main transformation. You will never have to go through that again. And the people, you know, the toxicity, it's out of your life, or it will be in the next couple of years. I would say welcome your new life and apply that new beautiful personality that Pluto has given you to something that truly matters, whether it's materialistic, right? Whether it's something that matters only to you, something that makes you feel good, whatever that is. I think this new journey is gonna be a lot more exciting than the last one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Pisces. Hi Pisces, I hope that you're doing well. So your Pluto is transiting into the 12th house, and you know, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that, you know, because we are about to have Saturn leave the 12th house, but when Saturn was there, wasn't that chaotic? It's like, now it's Pluto entering the 12th house. Well, luckily for us, we rule the 12th house, whether you're Pisces Sun or Pisces Rising, so we're good with that. We are comfortable with that energy. We're confident with that energy. Pluto is going to start questioning possibly our belief systems. You know, it's going to start questioning, are you more of a logical person, or are you actually intuitive and psychic, and do you actually believe that there is something out there? You know, it's going to maybe put us in situations where we have to trust our intuition over our logic, where we have to listen to what our inner self, what our higher self is telling us, rather than what our logic is telling us. Even though Aquarius is extremely analytical, extremely logical, right? It's going to put us through many new situations within our spiritual journeys that are just going to be not like the ones before, right? These are new experiences, futuristic almost in a way. But the approach is new, right? But the belief system is the same. However, no, it could also, for some people, change the belief system completely. You know, it's going to be a battle of what you actually truly believe in. And it might be between two belief systems versus, you know, belief system and logic. It could be very different for everyone. Of course, in the next 20 years, it's suggested that you may immigrate, right? Because 12th house rules immigration. So you could immigrate to a different country. You could maybe possibly connect yourself somehow to foreign land, for example, buy property somewhere, I don't know, in Norway, and just go there periodically, right? Pluto is wealth, Pluto is heaviness and like heavy weight, but in a good way, a lot of times. So it could bring you some kind of a powerful connection from afar, right? And could be, for example, that you may start making money abroad. It could be that maybe you're going to have some sort of powerful influences abroad. It could really connect you, like hook you to a foreign land, to a faraway place. You could also reach a certain point in your spirituality where you can become a mentor to others, where you can start teaching others. And you could become, for example, a spiritual healer. You could become a therapist. You could become a psychiatrist. You could also become more creative and kind of show your art to the world, you know, show your creativity to the world. It's an interesting one, and if you have bad habits, I hope to believe that you know, Pluto is going to cleanse you, completely clean slate, healthy, you know, from all of those patterns. And you know, Pluto being in the 12th house, for example, natally, you know, usually people for the first few years of their life, half of their life, sometimes do battle addictions. And I don't know if this is gonna be the case with you. Will you get addicted to something, or will you fight a certain addiction? I think that you will fight an addiction. I tend to think more positively about that. But a very interesting journey, you know, for the next 20 years. Yeah, belief systems for sure are gonna be shifting, and most likely something important is going to come out of those belief systems. They're not just going to be somewhere on the back burner, like, yeah, helping guide us throughout life. They're either going to be a part of your job, or maybe they're going to be a very strong influence in your life that keeps you going. Something very important is going to happen here when it comes to your beliefs. And of course, you know, for those that are not believers at all, this is the perfect time to transform them into believers. Whatever that is, right? Religion, spirituality, whatever. And what else can I say? Psychologically, you know, it can be a difficult time, though. It can be, because psychologically you will constantly be digging up those old traumas, those traumas that Saturn still has not touched or wasn't able to. You were too stubborn, for example, to actually go through them and face them and heal through them. Pluto will try to do that. And most likely Pluto will be successful because it's gonna have 20 years to do it, not 3 or 2.5 years, okay? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.